Out of 188 countries listed by the IMF, the economy of Hungary is the 57th largest in the world, with about $265 billion annual output. In terms of GDP per capita, measured by purchasing power parity, it is ranked 40th. The official currency of the country is the Hungarian forint, which has been used since the 1st of August 1946. One forint is worth 100 fillers, however, since filler coins have not been in circulation since 1999, filler is only used in accounting. There are 6 different denominations of coins: 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, and 6 of banknotes: 500, 1000, 2000, 5,000, 10,000, and 20,000 in use. Since the 1 and 2 forint coins were withdrawn in 2008, stores follow the official rounding scheme for the final price. Although Hungary fulfills the Maastricht criteria with the exception of public debt, Hungary maintains its own currency. Hungary has a high-income mixed economy. According to the Economic Complexity Index, it is ranked as the 10th most complex economy in the world. The country is a member of the OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Having a very high Human Development Index, Hungary's labor force is skilled, while income inequality is the 13th lowest in the world. Hungary is an export-oriented market economy. The country had more than $100 billion of exports in 2015, with a high trade surplus of about $9 billion, of which 79% went to the EU and 21% was extra-EU trade. Due to the special importance of foreign trade, the country is the 35th largest export economy in the world. Around 80% of the productive capacity of Hungary is owned by private companies. Hungary is one of the most attractive countries in Central and Eastern Europe for foreign direct investment. The inward FDI in the country in 2015 was nearly $120 billion, while Hungary invested more than $50 billion abroad. The most important trading partners of Hungary are Germany, Austria, Romania, Slovakia, France, Italy, Poland, and Czechia. The key industries of the country are food processing, pharmaceuticals, motor vehicles, information technology, chemicals, metallurgy, machinery, electrical goods, and tourism. Hungary is the largest producer of electronics in Central and Eastern Europe, which also supports innovation and economic growth. In the beginning of 2017, the employment rate was 68.7%. In terms of structure of employment, Hungary is categorized as a post-industrial economy. 63.2% of the employed workforce work in the service sector, Industry contributes by 29.7%, while agriculture employs 7.1%. The unemployment rate in September-November 2017 was 3.8%. Hungary is a member of the European Union and part of the European Single Market, which represents more than 448 million consumers. The Hungarian stock market index is called BUX. Large Hungarian companies are listed in the Budapest Stock Exchange, such as the MOL Group, OTP Bank, Richter Gedeon, Magyar Telekom, Cég Pannonia, FHB Bank, and Zvak Unicum. Besides the big companies and industries, there is a high number of small and medium-sized enterprises in Hungary. Especially important are automotive industry suppliers and technology startups. Budapest is not only the capital of Hungary, but also the financial and business center of the country, and, classified as an Alpha World city, it is one of the most significant economic hubs in the region. Budapest accounts 39% of the national income, with a gross metropolitan product of more than $100 billion in 2015, which makes it one of the largest regional economies in the European Union. Budapest is also among the top 100 GDP performing cities in the world, as measured by PricewaterhouseCoopers. One of the main sectors of Hungarian economy is agriculture, which accounts for almost 5% of the GDP, and along with the food industry, had the proportion of nearly 8% of the labor force. Along with primary agricultural production and related businesses, agriculture makes up about 13% of the GDP. Hungarian agriculture is virtually self-sufficient and due to the traditional reasons export-oriented thanks to the favorable conditions, such as the continental climate, fertile soil and the plains that make up about half of Hungary's landscape. Approximately half of Hungary's total land area is under cultivation, which provides a special position for the country among EU members. The most important crops are wheat, corn, sunflower, potato, sugar beet, canola, and a wide variety of fruit such as apple, peach, pear, grape, watermelon, and plum. The national fruit brandy called Pálinka is produced all around the country. Hungary also has several wine regions and is a notable beer producer too. Speaking of animals, mainly cattle, pigs, poultry, and sheep are raised in the country. There are several special domesticated breeds recognized as part of the national identity and tradition, such as the Hungarian grey cattle or the Racka sheep. Poultry too plays an important role in the country's gastronomy. About 33,000 farmers are engaged in the foie gras industry, which makes Hungary the second largest producer and the biggest exporter of foie gras in the world, exporting mainly to France. The most iconic symbol of Hungarian agriculture and gastronomy is unquestionably the sweet and hot varieties of paprika. The country is one of the largest producers of paprika in the world, with Szeged and Kalocsa being the centers of production. Speaking of the most significant agricultural products by volume in 2018, Hungary produced about 7.9 million tons of maize, which makes it the 15th largest producer in the world. 5.2 million tons of wheat, 1.8 million tons of sunflower seed, that makes Hungary the 8th largest producer in the world. 1.1 million tons of barley, 1 million tons of rapeseed, owing to this the country the ranks of the 14th largest producer in the world. 941,000 tons of sugar beet, which is used for sugar and ethanol production. 674,000 tons of apple, 539,000 tons of grape, 330,000 tons of potato, 330,000 tons of triticale. Industry belongs to the key sectors of Hungarian economy too. The most important fields are heavy industry, mining, metallurgy, machine and steel production. Energy production. Mechanical engineering. Chemicals. Food industry. And automobile production. The industry is mainly based on the processing and construction industry, accounting for about 30% of the GDP. Since Hungary is poor in energy and raw material resources, it imports most of these materials to fulfill the needs of the industry. The leading industry is machinery, followed by the chemical industry, plastic production, pharmaceuticals. Since the political and economic transition, mining, metallurgy and textile industry have lost their importance. Food industry secures 14% of total industrial production and amounts to 7–8% of the country's exports. Nearly half of the energy consumption of the country is based on important energy sources, such as gas and oil, which are transported through pipelines from Russia. Besides these, the nuclear power station of Paks accounts for 53.6% of the energy structure. A key part of the industry of Hungary is automobile production. A number of big international companies have their factories in the country, such as General Motors in Szentgotthard. Suzuki in Esztergom, Mercedes-Benz in Kecskemét, and Audi in Győr. About 17% of the total Hungarian export comes from the exports of Audi, Opel and Suzuki. And the sector employs about 90,000 people in more than 350 car component manufacturing companies. Audi's engine manufacturing plant in Győr is the largest in Europe and the third largest in the world. The tertiary sector covers about 65% of GDP. Due to important investments into transport and other services in the last decades, its role in the Hungarian economy is steadily growing. Thanks to its geostrategic location in Central Europe, Hungary is an ideal place for investment. Tourism employs more than 150,000 people. The total number of visitors in Hungary was 12.8 million in 2019, spending 31.3 million guest nights in the country, out of which the proportion of domestic and international tourists were around half-half. The top destinations are Budapest, the Balaton region, Eger, Sopron, Győr, Pécs and the spas all around the country, making Hungary one of the most visited countries in the world.